My people, what up, though? We back with another episode of All Black Men Need Therapy. My name is Chief.
And I'm Bell.
My name is Prentice.
You gonna look at the screen when you say that?
Hey, you said my shit all weird last
other cat down here. I mean, looking down, even not in Bell. Look at your audience, B. It's out here wilding. Anyways, go ahead.
You watch the goddamn football game, but okay,
listen.
Go ahead.
Check in, yo. Check in, Bell. What's going on?
Oh, I gotta go first too, huh?
Yo, y'all want to start dating these joints and telling them what the date is? Because I know we don't never say when the date is.
Don't nobody care.
Yeah, nobody care.
I don't think they care.
You're right.
Right now, bro, we like shit. The episode that dropped the other day, it was just like, yeah, it's my first week of meditation. Like that was November.
We behind the ball a little bit.
We real far behind. We got like at least 3 in the clip, I think. At least 3 episodes in the clip.
Yeah, I think we got. Is it 3 or is it 4?
I think we just released one, so now it's 3.
So
now it's 3. Well, this will be 4. This will be the 4th now.
Dope.
I'm good, man. You know, y'all will see, but we had the lovely Miss April Mason on last episode, and I downloaded her book, and it was a quick read. I highly recommend it. You know, I highly recommend it. It's geared towards women tapping into their femininity and becoming the woman they want to be. But I took a lot of gems from it. Like a lot of gems. I just kind of changed the gender when she would mention women because it applies. It's all applicable. You know what I'm saying? It's it in my opinion, it could be gender neutral. You know, but in short, it was just the name of her book is Identity Switch, and just basically letting go of your old self to become who you desire to be, or the person you see, but haven't yet become yet. You know, so even little stuff like I'm out here traveling for work right now, and I don't have any meetings until tomorrow. Excuse me, until tomorrow. Also, happy Martin Luther King Day.
Word. MLK Day is a holiday. Stay home. Shout out to Martin Lawrence.
But even like traveling for work today, like I don't have any meetings today. I don't meet with anybody till tomorrow. And under normal circumstances, I would dress very casually. I would just wear a sweatsuit. You know what I'm saying? And but she talks about in the book, right? Like if you want to be the CEO, right? Start looking like a CEO. And that's kind of that's a moving target for me, right? Because it's like, well, what does a CEO look like, right? There's not a lot of CEOs that look like me, you know? So I want to dress how I feel you should be comfortable. I want to dress comfortable while still being a CEO. So I didn't wear a suit, right? But I wore a sweater and a collared shirt, you know, and I had sneakers on, but I had, you know, designer sneakers, but nice casual sneakers and jeans, you know, because the look I was going for was business professional, right? Or business casual, business casual. And I felt like I can get that accomplished, but it's that book that made me really hone into what I was wearing on this flight today. Under normal circumstances, I just wouldn't have. I wouldn't have cared. I would have just wore a sweatsuit because my justification would have been I'm not meeting with any clients today. I'm not meeting with anybody, so I can be casual. But yeah, that's kind of what's going on with me. I don't think I got anything else. That's really it.
I'll break it up a little bit. As far as me, your boy got sick, man. I haven't been Pete, no lie. I haven't been sick in 20 years, like not even a common cold. And I woke up like 2 a.m. on Wednesday morning, not feeling well. I'm like, nah, this ain't it. Caught a lot of work. Was like body aches all day. No, I was COVID negative, but just didn't feel well. Thursday, Friday, same thing, just heavy. Couldn't, like, just slept all day. just starting to kind of like recover a little bit. So this was different for me, bro. I haven't had to like treat a cold for myself in 20 years. So it was weird. I
feel
don't
like
like
you've been sick since then.
I don't like this. I don't like this at all.
Yeah,
But
what the doctor said, you had mono?
outside of that, did a little MLK gig today. It was cool to get around some poetry and, you know, see the poets and whatnot. But I get this strange energy from certain poets, man, and it kind of rubbed me the wrong way today, man. So that was kind of sitting on my spirit a little bit. I don't like it. I greeted one and there was just no response.
Yo, here we go again.
No, but like I'm shaking his hand.
Acknowledging. And he didn't put his hand out?
No, we shook his hands, whatever, but acknowledging, you know, in praising him for a job well done. Nothing.
What do you mean nothing? You're like, hey man, I was really moving. That touched me. He was like, all right.
No, there wasn't a word. Nothing. Didn't say a word.
He said nothing?
Didn't say a word. And I was like, okay. And just slid back and kept it pushing. But it's just like it.
And you had his hand. You guys are shaking hands at the moment?
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
Yep. And it was just, I don't know, it just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And I don't want to.
Did you know him personally? Sorry, I know I'm jumping over.
Just on the scene. We've crossed paths many a times on the scene, you know what I'm saying? Many a times on the scene.
Have you guys been compared to each other?
Not that I know of.
Not that I know.
Not that I know of. I think he's a really brilliant writer. I never had to compete against him. His team beat my team a couple times in the competition. It was very, 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 very close, but they got it. And they're really interesting. And they're really, really good. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking, whatever, but I just didn't like the energy. So that was sitting with me for a little while, but I'm over that. It's nothing big.
He didn't say nothing though? Like nothing?
About nothing. Yo, good job, man. Congratulations. Good job. You did the work out there. Let my hand go. Let his hand go and walked away. I was just like, maybe I didn't hear him. Maybe I didn't hear him. Maybe that's me.
Nah, you might be right on this one.
Nevertheless, that sat with me for a minute, but got back in the car with my baby girl. We went away and that was that. So outside of that, man, I think I need another day or two to kind of get back to feeling normal. But we'll go back to the office tomorrow and do what I do. Other than that, I feel good. I feel good. Yeah, for sure. P, check in, baby. What's good with you?
Well, I definitely didn't have no nigga shake my hand and not acknowledge me. So
no,
I'm up. I'm up in comparison to you.
So soft ass.
They disrespecting me out here like that this week.
Disrespect you in front of your baby girl like that,
man. Nobody picked up on it, man, but me.
Man, I'm up and I'm back to moving, man. You know, chin down, focused up. I took your intentional words for the year after you said that. I think it had to be January 9th because you had said I'm 9 days in about being intentional and deliberate. And ever since then, I took that. So I'm really focused on that. But this year, or let me say this season, is really chin down, focus up, and get to work, manifest, speak it into existence, and take it from there. But other than that, I'm moving. We pivoting, we doing what we gotta do and going forward, man.
That's what's up. So we're gonna roll into the topic, man.
This might be one of our quickest check-ins for the record.
No doubt. But I think that's a good thing because people want us to get into the topic anyway. So let's go ahead and get into it. Sometimes the check-in leads us into the topic, but in this case, we are going to be discussing legacy. And I've never really looked at it. So I'm glad you mentioned it, P. So it's defining and redefining your legacy. So P gave us the topic and share with us where the inspiration came from.
So, like as common as the word is to me, and I've always associated the word legacy with these men that I see who have created and accomplished these things and have acquired these things that they're able to pass down to their children. I realize that I usually associate the word with like the established in a sense. And I was thinking about it. It was one of these days watching football, but I was thinking about it and I was like, what? Sometimes I feel like I'm too busy like learning myself right now as a grown ass man and father to really be focusing on what my legacy is. But at the same time, I realize I'm naturally setting one too. You get what I'm saying? Like, whether I'm intentional about it or not is one thing, but there is a legacy that I'm creating. And so the other day I was like, oh shit. You know what I mean? Because I just thought because it wasn't something that was necessarily my primary focus because I'm trying to, be a dad and now be a husband and be a better man. And I'm into this energy and frequency and learning all these new things. I'm not really thinking about my legacy. It's not a conscious thing that I think I'm attacking the day with every day. So I just wanted to ask y'all because I was like, yo, well, when I think about legacy, I think about niggas like you, Bill. You know what I mean? Like I think about cats who have accomplished these things and have and this ain't nothing against you, Chief. Obviously, you cool too. But but cats who have accomplished these things and can look back and say, I've managed to do this, this, and this. I have something like this kind of breadcrumb path to leave for my child. You might not necessarily do it, but I feel like you got enough to be able to give your children some game and information, something they can kind of follow. And for me, it's just not like that. So now I was sitting here just like, yo, do y'all have a legacy? You know what I'm saying? Would you say that you guys have established a legacy, and is that a conscious thing for you? Because for me, it hasn't been.
So
Let me go first
okay.
since he brought me up. Well, first of all, Pete, thank you. I wasn't expecting that, and it when you said that, it triggered a lot of thoughts. You know what I'm saying? Because here's the deal, bro. Right? Take me out the picture. Men in general, whether you like it or not, you die today, you're leaving a legacy, for better or worse. You know what I'm saying? For better or worse. And when you said that, bro, I thought about things, and I'm like, we got to be and I'm not saying you're doing this, but we got to be careful, right? Associating legacy with things,
Right.
right? Because get this, right? What's the other side of the coin, right? Say I have all these things. A man has all these things to leave to his children, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they don't know him.
It,
You see what I'm saying? Like, is that what type of legacy did he really leave?
and that's where it's been making it was making me think like for people such as myself, I feel the things that I have already been leaving my kids are things on an emotional and mental level way more than anything physical, right? And I know those are valuable, valuable things to pass down to them. But just growing up, my perspective has been more so about the tangible than the internal. You feel what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
man. Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying, and you were raised to be that way. You know what I'm saying? We, society, right, was raised to be that way. And the old saying, right? Give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. Teach him how to fish, you'll feed him for a lifetime. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would argue, P, that the gems you left your children or you instill in your children will be things that they carry with them throughout life.
Mm-hmm.
And that will then parlay into the life they want to build. You know what I'm saying? Because you help them tap into something that they wouldn't have known otherwise how to without you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So when I think about legacy, I think about all these things. Like this is real conversation, right? This might get deep. So Chief, just write down whatever you got to say, so you don't forget. So this happened today. Just a true story. So speaking of legacy, right? So obviously, as a lot of our listeners know, I had my daughter when I was 15, right? So my daughter's now 25. Will be 26 this year. And we was having a conversation. She the other day, me, Lo, her dad, and Chase, we went to a UConn basketball game. I mean, bro, this was literally yesterday, right? Went to the UConn basketball game. My daughter got upset because I didn't invite her. Because she's like, how are you going to have a family event and not invite me? And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, well, shit, I didn't think you want to go to this game. I didn't even really want to go necessarily, but I went. And I had a conversation with her today because she was mad at me yesterday, and we caught up today finally. And the conversation was like basically, and she wasn't comparing at all. She was just trying to drive her point home. She was just like, you know, basically she was like, I didn't ask to be born to young parents, right? Because my rebuttal was to her when she asked, when she was upset, I'm like, Bree, you're an adult. Like, why am I going to bring you to this game? And I think that was me more or less being defensive about me not inviting her, and I defaulted to her being an adult. But what she had to help me understand, she's like, yeah, I'm an adult, but I was raised by a teenage father. So these things that my brother is now privy to and has access to, I didn't have at that age.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So she's like basically, I need to be included for obvious reasons, but and also because like these are things that I still want to enjoy no matter what my age is.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So in that case, right? Like, yeah, if I die today, she'll have a couple dollars, right? She'll have a property, right? She'll have that stuff. But what she wants right now is what my brother will be what her brother will be experiencing at a very young age. And we did things, and I brought this up to like we've been out the country a number of times and all these things. But when we were talking, it brought up, I say all this because it brought up a deeper issue, right? The issue wasn't me not inviting her to the game, right? That wasn't the issue. The issue is more closely geared towards her relationship with her mom and where we and our relationship was great, but what she wasn't getting as a kid, right? So you talk about legacy, right? So like that shit is present no matter what tangible things you can tie to that title, right? The legacy is present, right? Her mom left a legacy. I'm leaving a legacy, right? Like it's not about the tangible things. It's just about sometimes it's about experience, right? For the child. Like for me, what legacy means to me is I want to leave my kids two things. And I promise I'm gonna be done after this. I know I've been talking for a while.
It's
Two
all
things I
good.
pride myself on, right? Two things I pride myself on. And this is a good conversation because I had a situation at work recently where this was challenged. Two things I pride myself on, right? Is being able to being a man that takes care of his family, right? And a high character individual, right? There's been times in my life where somebody had tried to say something about me, but because my character is so high, the person that they tried to say that to about me, that was false, by the way, looked at them and was like, nah, I don't believe you. Right? Like I don't believe you. Like that I know Bell, and that's not who you're describing. So I don't know if you caught him on a bad day or if you made this shit up, but that didn't happen. Like, I don't care what you say. You know what I'm saying? So I pride myself on being high character, right? So when I think about legacy, I think about that. Like I think about I don't give a shit where I go, right? Like in the boardroom or on the block, I don't need like I want my name to be good. You know what I'm saying? Like my name is good. Like there's no man on this planet that can ever say that Bell did him wrong intentionally, right? Bell took advantage of him. Bell robbed him, like stuff like that. I remember there was a situation, Chief. You may or may not remember this. Years ago, I was in college. You was in college too. Long story short, one of his really good friends. We was all at a party. There's a dude there that I may or may not have beat up at one time or another. And they said the dude went to the host of the party and was like, yeah, Bell and Chief jumped me. And then they were like, It was like,
Wait, like just now, jump me?
I don't even know when. No, not just at the party. Like he was saying, we jumped them recently though, and then they were like, no, Chief, no, the Chief definitely wouldn't do that. Val, he might have, he might have did something to him, but definitely not Chief, right? But my whole thing, but it wasn't true. Nobody ever jumped him. We had our differences and we handled it whatever. But my
Wait,
point
what's
is,
whatever, bud? Like, did y'all put hands on him?
I put hands on him. It was a long time ago. It was a long
Did you
time ago. It
like
was
whoop his ass so bad he thought y'all jumped him?
it's like more to the story. Like
Chief, why are you so quiet, bud? You're hella
he
quiet.
wasn't Chief wasn't there. That's the thing. Chief wasn't
Oh,
there.
okay.
This had nothing to do with Chief. Like nothing to do with Chief. This was years prior. Like I was in college at this point. This happened in high school. You know what I'm saying? So
Oh, okay.
anyway, it was another person involved, but they didn't necessarily they didn't beat him up. There was other things that happened, but anyway, my point in all of that, right? Like when that happened, I'm like, damn. Like, yeah, I mean, I did, but I don't want y'all to just assume that that's the type of person I am. You know what I mean? So my point is, I want to be able to like people like when I die, like more than what I leave, like tangibly, financially, I want people to tell my kids like, your dad was a stand-up dude, right? Stand-up dude, like stood on what he believed in, fought for you if you was close to him, and didn't turn his back on people, right? Like that's so that has to be a part of my legacy in addition to the tangible things, right, that I'm gonna leave behind. So that when I hear legacy, that's what I think. I think about putting my family, specifically my children and my wife, in a better situation than they were when I was here, and that nobody can come up to them and say, your dad did this to me. Your dad did like, you know what I'm saying? Like I want to be looked at as a stand-up dude that always had people's best intentions at heart.
I carry a I carry a lot of the same sentiment. And initially when P was talking, what I heard was kind of what you were saying, material, financial type legacy.
Yeah.
And it took me back to that episode we did with Suge and Mia. And it was just a thing. But one of the questions was, what's something your dad says to you all the time? And Mia was like, that he loves me more than anything in this world. And that, to me, I'll get the other second, but to me, to me, that was like, that is legacy right there. When she thinks of her father, she's going to think of a man who poured into her constantly. You know what I'm saying? On top of the fact that, like, when I'm gone, they're going to be, my children to be wealthy. So, but I do think a part of the legacy I would like to build would be creating more of that financial independence while I'm here. But I know for a fact when I'm gone, they'll be good. That's already signed, sealed, and delivered and taken care of. You know what I'm saying? But I think ultimately having the essence of just being a good dude, because I feel like right now, if things went left, you two in particular would have nothing bad to say about me. Like
Right.
you two, you know what I'm saying? And that's not because we're in this together and we're boys, but like, you know what I mean? Just how I carry myself as a person. Like I've heard you, say it to other people, P. You dig what I'm saying? So I think that's a part of the legacy. But I also think legacy is certainly something that we are not cognizant enough on putting some emphasis on, because whether you see it or not, P, the way you're moving, good, bad, or indifferent, is instilling something within your children, and they're seeing that. And we have to be very cognizant of that, because I was just talking about Big Baby the other day. He's still struggling with some stuff from his childhood. And I'm just like, yo, man, your parents weren't aware that their neglect would have this type of effect on you. They didn't know that this, that, and the third was going to have you feeling this way. And again, we may not know some of the things that we do are affecting our kids in certain ways. So we have to be very aware and intentional about certain things we do or certain things we allow them to see, because they're going to use those examples as fuel for them to help develop their person.
Right. I agree. And I'll say this too. Maybe it's making me think, like, listening to you, Chief, it's like, I think I need to be more cognitive of the idea of legacy, and also like give myself a little more credit, because I really do be attaching that shit to like what you've acquired and what you have to give. And I just am not in the position in life where I'm looking around like, yeah, they could have this
So
barbecue grill. You know what I'm saying? But
let me
right now, we're not.
let me
So
ask you this question.
no, it was leading to me. I want to ask you a question.
Okay.
You were saying like with MJ, being like my daddy always loves her, and you said we got to be cognitive. So being cognitive, how would you describe your legacy right now? Like if you got to define it right now, how would you describe it right now? Be cognitive. What would you say it is? Not what you want it to be, but what would you say it is right now?
I think, honestly speaking, I don't know if one can define his own legacy in terms
Why
of being
not?
able to describe it.
Why not?
Because I think uh, is it fair to say legacy is more so about perspective and how you are viewed by the masses?
So are you cognitive like you said we have to be? Would you consider yourself at least remotely cognitive
I mean, well,
of
cognizant. I mean, I
of
was saying
le-
cognizant of how, like, I just more aware of how I move.
right? So what is
Yes,
that? So
because
start there.
I think I naturally move with intention and integrity. So I don't think, like Bell said, I don't think anyone's gonna be like, yeah, Chief did me wrong, he did me dirty, or ain't nobody getting him at my funeral like, yeah, this cat, he was a foul dude. You see them crazy obituaries that have been written or something like that. Ain't nobody saying nothing like that about me. I think people would always say that I move with a kind heart. We talked about love, and my basis for love was kindness. I think I move with that in general. And yeah, of course, we cussed a couple people out and beat a couple people up, but that doesn't, that take away from who we are as individuals. I think I move with kindness. I treat people fairly. I think I've left a good sounding board for my kids to continue being good people. And the question I was going to ask both of you is, do you think you've raised good humans?
Before we get there, because that's the easy answer, right? Before we get there, let me ask you this. That's me knocking on wood. If you died today,
Mm-hmm.
would you be okay with what you're leaving behind? Whatever that means.
Yes. Outside of the current financial freedom I would like my kids to have while I'm still here, if I left, they have enough I mean, my boys are still really young, but they have enough in them to know right from wrong and to do right from wrong. And they have the financial means now to take that general message of do right and create a life of their own. So yes.
Prentice?
No, I wouldn't be.
Pete, do you have life insurance?
You said what?
Do you have life insurance?
No.
Bro, you got your life insurance.
You should 100% get life
Black
insurance.
man in America, bro.
Yeah, I gotta get that.
Definitely. For sure. And I think that is a part of your legacy. Being able to make sure that if nothing less, my kids will be financially well off when I'm gone. If nothing less.
Yeah. I'll hop on that, man. I need to make that happen. I wouldn't be, only because I'm too aware now, man. You know what I mean? Like I'm it's not to say that I haven't done anything effective, but I know there's so much more to me and in me. You know what I mean? Because I know where I'm at, and I'm in tune. So that would just, I think, leave me really unsatisfied right now if I left. You know what I mean? Like just right now, does that mean that I don't think I'd leave them with plenty of jewels? No, I think I would have left them with something substantial to carry on, but I wouldn't be okay right now. No, I'm in the sludge right now, so I'd want to feel a little bit on the up. You know what I mean? Like I'm in work mode. So
yeah, but again, so what that sounds like to me is just still things.
no, there's just more. There's
it sounds like it's both.
there's more, and I'm not talking about the space of items. I'm talking about, when I think now, like in this conversation we're having now, I'm thinking like, with what I left them, I'd want to leave them more internal spiritual knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Like a stronger sense of self, and I don't see that yet. You get what I'm saying? Like there's
Got
certain
you.
things about them that I want to instill that I would like to have seen before today, if today was my time to go. That's what I'm saying. So
I'm
that's
But
very
just know, Prentice, me having the oldest child on the podcast, those things may be in them.
they just
You
come
just
later.
they come later. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like it ain't for a lack of it being there.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
just may not understand it yet. You know what I'm saying? But it's there. You know,
Yeah.
I can tell you that for sure.
Yeah,
yeah.
Go
yeah.
ahead,
No,
Chief.
I believe all of that. I'm just, being
But,
selfishly me
but
in the
okay,
space.
so an example I can use, like, have you seen your kids emulate you in ways that make you proud? Like I distinctly remember my daughter teaching my son something one day. Like I think it was like he was trying to tie his shoe and he's like, Mia, I can't do it. I can't do it. She's like, Major, come here. And he comes to her and she's like, look at me. He looks at me. He's like, no, Major, look at me. She like grabs his face like I would grab her face. And she's like, look at me. And she's like, we don't use can't in this house. And it was so cool to like watch her instill that in her brother. And I'm like, I know where she got that from because that's what I do to her. You know what I'm saying? And that right there is legacy, transcendent. You dig what I'm saying? And little things like that make a huge difference. When your 10-year-old teaches your 8-year-old or your 7-year-old that he can't say no. We don't, I mean, he can't say can't in our house. Like we don't do that. We keep
You know
going.
what? I think I just thought of one that would fall in that realm. This is the dopest thing about my kids that I take total fucking credit for, especially for having 4 kids by 4 different women, having the split time, Justice being in Florida, the majority of his life, having to, you know, share that time to this very day, but this very day. It doesn't matter how many rooms we have, they always sleep in the same exact room. They will sleep on the floors together. They will sleep in a bed, but they always sleep on the same room every day. They're with each other every day. Doesn't matter. And I think
That. So what do you think what do you think they're gonna think or they're gonna say about that? It's kind of like us talking
I
about
already know what
the
that is,
cousin
and
sleepovers when we
I'm
were
glad we're
younger.
having this because I
Those
know
are
what that is. That's my influence, but that's my. You guys are a team. I mean, granted, I don't make them sleep. This is their thing. That's just what they do. They have to sleep in the same room. You know what I'm saying? I think that was the set. Damn, this is crazy. That's what I wanted because they have different mothers, because we have schedules, because they're not with each other every day of the week. I wanted them to have a sense of camaraderie and for it not to be some, 4 days out a week for 2 of them when I'm with my dad, it's this, and then the other 3 days or you know what I'm saying? But I want to know when I'm gone that they're still gonna be like this. You get what I'm saying? That they still tied together. And I think that reminds me every day that I did something fucking right. But I never really thought about that about legacy. That's for sure. That's without a doubt legacy. You know what I'm saying? I think that sets the standard for how they're gonna move just
right,
as adults.
right. And I
And
guarantee. Go ahead.
there you go.
No, I'm saying, and I guarantee none of them have ever been like that's my half brother or my
Oh
half
hell,
sister.
we don't do that
But you
half.
see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But society will do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
But they
Yeah.
ain't trying to hear that
yeah.
because
Nah, we
legacy has
don't do
taught them
that.
these are my siblings and that's that. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying? And that's so. I mean,
yeah.
it's a beautiful thing. A lot more is going on than we realize. That's
Mm-hmm.
leaving an imprint that's adding to our legacy.
Right.
But one thing I would say, this is probably the first formal conversation, if I had to guess, or at least the first in a long time that each of us have had about legacy.
Right.
Yeah, I
So
never.
Right.
with that
So
being said,
can I finish my goddamn thought?
go ahead.
Yeah. Nigga. So
Thank
with
you.
that being said,
So my point is, the saying where it's like, if you don't, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, think about everything else we do in our life, right? Chief, what's your motto this year?
Discipline
Discipline,
and
right? So you're being intentional about
intentional
discipline,
about discipline. Yes.
right? So, but when it comes to legacy, like what happens after we leave and who our legacy is, that's a whole nother conversation, right? Who is our legacy, right? Chief, you got property, you got assets. What happens when you pass away, right? Do you have a will, right?
Mhm.
Right? You see what I'm saying? Like Like this is stuff that I was talking to the wife about. I was like, yo, we have to get estate planning, right? We got to get all this stuff taken care of because you don't know when it's going to happen. Like you don't know when it's going to happen. So why aren't we planning for it, right? Like who is our legacy, right? Is our legacy a foundation we built? Is it our career? Is it our kids, right? And what do we want to leave to those things, right? How often are we having conversations about estate planning, like what we do after we're gone? You know what I'm saying? Because and I don't know the statistics, guys, but they talk about generational wealth and how it's not like black people don't own property, right? It's like a lot of them when a lot of us when we pass, there's no will, right? So then it goes to your estate, which then becomes the state, right? And then it's a whole probate process to try to get the property, to get the assets. And it's like some people give up because they don't want to go through that battle. Or there is a will in place and they pass the property down to a kid or a grandkid or whoever, and they don't want the property. Right? And then they just whatever happens to it happens to it. It gets abandoned, it gets sold, whatever. Right? So it's like, what's the plan? You know what I'm saying? What's the plan? It's like we plan everything else in our life. We want to lose weight. All right, I'm eat healthy 4 days out of the week. I have one cheat meal a week, right? We have a plan for all of that. I want to move up in my company, so I got to go get these degrees. I got to do this training. We plan for that, right? But when it comes to legacy and what we leaving behind, you know what I'm saying? There's no plan for that. It's haphazard.
Right.
So that's the conversation right there.
I
It's
think,
like,
yeah, that'll take us down a whole different conversation. But I think for a lot of us, just to respond to it, not to go off track, but I think for some of us, there are so many other obstacles that we have that we don't prioritize that thought about the after. You know what I mean?
yeah, because
And
we're
not
just
as
trying to
an
get through
excuse.
today. Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, that's very true.
What would you right now? We say you got to start planning to redefine, define, and solidify your legacy. What do you do differently about how you move and things like that?
What do you do?
I can tell you what I do, what I'm gonna do. After this call, actually, it's already scheduled for Friday. Shout out to my man Jeff Kennelly again. Um, he's gonna set us up with an estate planner, my new financial advisor. So that's something that's been heavy on my mind, bro. Like it's been I don't know if it's something because I'm getting older. And I don't want to get all morbid and shit, but I don't know. I just be thinking about that. Like nobody left the house today and was like, I'm gonna die today. You know what I'm saying? So let me get all this shit in order.
Right.
Everybody who died, they didn't know that shit was coming unless they were terminally ill. Right? So anybody who died, excuse me. Takeoff didn't leave, go to Houston knowing that this was gonna be his last days. You know what I'm saying? Like he didn't have a will either. So it's like we gotta start making time for shit, man. And it doesn't matter what it is, right? Like Prentice, I know you're not where you want to be. Like you said, you're on the sludge right now. So cool, right? What do you need to do now today to be good with that legacy?
Yeah.
What do you want that to look like? Like, what are we planning, right? Like,
so I think the honest answer would be that to be good with it now would be to rewire how I look at it. You get what I'm saying? Like I gotta rewire how I view it. That's what would make it okay. It's totally restructuring how I'm glad we had this conversation because I really have placed it on. It's almost as if you place it on what you haven't obtained. I've obtained, self-awareness and I'm identifying self-love and all these internal things, right? But that's not what's advertised, I feel like.
Yeah, you're not putting a high enough value on that.
Right, but I also feel like, again, like what I've been taught and what I've seen, that's not what's advertised within legacy. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't hear about people being of better character when I hear about Black legacy and shit. I don't feel like I do. I feel like I hear Black excellence and wealth and land and property, and I just ain't got that shit. You know, and I ain't never had that shit. So,
but what does your family? Excuse me. What does your family need? obviously we could all use more money, right? So if money wasn't one of those, and obviously with life insurance, the money will be taken care of. Like you can get life insurance for $10,000 a month. You know what I'm saying? So that'll be taken care of. But outside of that, right, assuming that you're gonna have life insurance, outside of that, like what do you want your family to be to have? You know what I'm saying? Like, and that shit, I don't know. It's like it's a tough place to go in your mind. At least for me, it is.
What would you want them to have?
I don't even like think about it because like my daughter's fine, man. She's gonna be. I mean, she won't be fine if something, God forbid, something happen to me. But she'll take care of her brother. Like financially, they'll be fine. But I don't know. Like the reason why I struggle with that conversation because I just want more time. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? Like my son's 2. Like if I passed today, would he remember me? Probably. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like what would I have done to help his life outside of finances? I don't know. Like at 2 years old, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So all I could do is leave him in a better financial spot. You know, his mom won't have to worry about anything, and his sister will take care of him. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Like I just know if I don't do it, if I don't plan, then everything's in limbo. You know what I'm saying? Like everything's in limbo. Like if I don't get some shit on paper, there could potentially be fights and arguments that don't need to happen that can then draw a wedge, you know what I'm saying, between the family, where it's like, no, this is the time we need to come together.
Right.
Yeah,
So
it's like the
that would be
outcome
my part.
is almost guaranteed to be far worse if you don't plan, regardless of the
Yes.
dynamic.
Exactly. That's
You
it
know what I'm
right
saying?
there,
But then
Prentice.
does that
Exactly.
what does that say add or take away from your legacy?
Nothing.
What?
That I think that's just
I'm saying
preparation, right?
that's what I'm saying. So failing to do so,
Yeah. Well, I
having
mean,
this
you're
That
missing
means
conversation,
your
accepting.
legacy is not a priority.
and
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like having this conversation and still
Uh-huh.
failing to do so, and then God forbid something happened, and now this riff and this beef happens and separates your family all because you passed away and didn't take care of what you said you was going to take care of.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
it's like it's hard to care and not prepare. That sounds poetic, but
yeah,
you know
but
what
you
I'm
know what
saying?
you yeah, but you know what you have to do while you prepare. That is the part that's probably stopping a lot of us. Is you got to face what your real reality is.
Yeah,
Mhm.
You know what I'm
That's
saying? That's
yeah.
that's the part that may be the pill that's too tough to swallow.
yeah,
You know what
Well,
I'm saying?
I don't know if I'm thinking about it. If I'm thinking about it for me, the idea of having life insurance right there within itself is a win. I think in my book, like for my ego check book, you know what I'm saying? Like my husband father book, being like, yeah, I got like that's a big deal. That's a significant part of preparation, right?
absolutely,
The
So if you
absolutely.
are
foundation, bro.
constantly making sure that that's up to date and sustainable, then you're doing a you're repeating a step that's necessary to take care of your family and like support a legacy, right?
For sure. I think that's
Yeah,
that's
the
the beginning
foundation.
phase of it,
And
though,
that's
baby. That's like,
perspective.
yeah, for sure. I mean, that's been life insurance. Been I've had it so long. It's almost like an after. Like it's like I almost like always better safe than sorry. You know what I'm saying? In this particular case. So yeah.
Yo, it's so
Um.
crazy. This is kind of off topic. My bad, Chief. If you have something
No, no,
pertaining
no.
to
I was
this,
just
my
looking
bad.
down at my notes. Go ahead.
So it's so crazy, man, because today, right, I travel for work, like I said. I flew in, I go get the rental car. I'm waiting forever for my rental car. I don't know what the hell they got going on in this airport, but it was taking me forever. Because normally you just go up to the car and the keys is in it. I don't know what they got going on out here, but I had to wait for it. And they're supposed to be bringing me a Camaro. And I saw the Camaro go by and
Laughing already.
it never came back. So then they pull up this Challenger. And I'm like, all right, you can take this. I'm like, no, I'm not taking that. That shit had murder tints on it. I'm like, and then like it looked like it was somebody's personal vehicle. Like I had tints on it. Then the front windshield was like tinted this much. And I was like, no, I'm not taking that. I'm like, I said, I prefer not that. I prefer to have a vehicle without tints. And she's always just tinted a little bit. I'm not taking that. You know what I'm saying? And she was she wasn't black. I'll say that. And and I think about like, cause I'm in my head, I saw that car pull up. I thought of two things. I thought I'm in this big city. I'm not from around here. I got a car that looks like a lot of these other cars. One, I can get mistaken for somebody that I'm not, right? By a local and or police officer. And either one I'm not trying to deal with. And it was just so I meant to mention this on my check-in. It was just so crazy because like we have to have, and it was a Hemi too. So it was like the fast challenges. So it's like these are the thoughts that, as this goes back to my life insurance point. Like as a black man, I thought about how could that could be the last car I drive in fucking Florida, which is where I'm at right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, nah, I'm not doing that. Like I'm not putting myself in that situation. You know, and she wasn't mad at all, but it took me another 20 minutes to get another car. You know what I'm saying? But it's just weird, man, that these are conscious thoughts that we have to have, like for fucking self-preservation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's
So
weird and it's unfortunate.
yeah, man. That car, there's no way I was driving that car nowhere.
It's unfortunate, man, because ain't nobody else thinking like that.
That's what I'm saying.
Forced to think like that.
Yeah, I was thinking like I wonder if this was one of my white counterparts. And not that they would be wrong for taking the car, right? I'm just thinking it's like that's an example of privilege, right? Where you can take a car and not worried about what the consequences will be because the windows are a little darker.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like this is the stuff I have to actively think about. So anyway, I know I just went off on a tangent, but I forgot to mention that today in the check-in. So my bad. I know we kind of went all over the place.
No, all good. I thought this was a great topic, P. I mean, you guys got any more you want to add or fill in with it? I thought it was cool, and I'm actually very thankful we had this conversation.
Black men get life insurance. I can recommend some people if you need to hit us up. P, I got you if you you in California.
Might do
I'm sure I can.
Hey P,
Already know.
before we even get to these final thoughts, did you get that first therapy appointment in yet or no?
Next week.
Next week?
Yep.
Be sure to check in, let us know how that goes, man.
Definitely will.
All right. Bellhead, let's we'll save you for last.
I'll go first.
That's a short episode.
I don't know.
I think it was around regular time, but
yeah.
I think it was a little bit more fluent.
Yeah, I think we had some good dialogue, I think. So let's see what the people think. P, check in. I mean, give me your final thought, man.
This changed my perspective, just this whole conversation, because it's just not a topic, one, that I've engaged in with anybody ever. I think as far as I go is Jay-Z's Legacy track, and you know, that's about a good 3 minutes, and then it's on to whatever the fuck is next. But this really opened my perspective on just kind of really forcing myself to look at what I've done so far and what part of that I do identify as legacy, and what Bell said, like, what do I have to do now to be okay with what I have left? And I know the answer is change my perspective. So I got to change my perspective. So yeah, those are my final. But this was more helpful than I even thought it would be. It gave me some real good things to think about. You know what I mean?
That's what's up. For me, I think just placing more emphasis on being intentional about the legacy you intend to leave, you like to leave, and you want to leave. We all, make our mistakes and do whatever we do that we're not happy with, but those individual moments don't define our character and dictate our legacy. So we have a lot of time. Well, we'd like to believe we had a lot of time to create that. So from this point forward, be intentional about that.
Word.
My final thought is your legacy starts today. There's a Chinese proverb that says the best time to plant a tree was 25 years ago. The second best time was today. Right? So it's like, yeah, I wish I would have done this to be able to have more, to leave more. But whatever you have right now, is enough. Just make sure it's what you want to leave.
Mm.
That's the question.
Yeah.
Is what you have right now what you want to leave?
I
Right?
like that.
And if it's not, then what are you doing about it to change? And again, it doesn't have to be materialistic. As I said, you can be the guy with all the assets, but your kids don't know who you are. You know what I'm saying? And they can be in your same house and they don't know who you are. You know what I mean? So what do you want? What do you want when people go up to your children at your funeral? What do you want them to say? Right? What do you want your children to say about you when you're gone? How do you want your children to be in this world when you're gone? You know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of how I am, man. And I don't know. It's like we work too hard. Like regardless of how we show up on the scoreboard, meaning like what we make annually or what assets we have, regardless of that, man. Like, listen, being at our age as a black man in America is hard enough. You know what I'm saying? Like we made it this far. It's like, what can we do, right, to solidify what we've done for those we love? It's my final thought.
Boom. And a final thought it is. Yo, per usual, y'all, I appreciate, chatting with y'all. And it's crazy how we do this often, but certain episodes hit you in a different way and we gain some insight we didn't think we were going to get. And it's always something like, damn, that was kind of dope. I'm glad we had that conversation. So I appreciate y'all boys and our followers and supporters, man. Per usual, we are on all social media outlets at All Black Men Need Therapy. Hit us up at allblackmenneedtherapy@gmail.com. We got some things in store. I know we've been saying it for a while, but we're moving with intent right now and got some discipline behind it. So we're doing some good things. Be on the lookout for it. Here we go, y'all. As we always say, do us all a favor and hug a black man today.
Do it.
And tomorrow.
Do it.
We out, y'all.
Peace.